This is the first video tutorial for the STELLA 1.1 device. This is going to cover how to modify some of the components and where to find necessary test code to begin building your STELLA. But first we're going to do a quick overview of the finished product. So this is a finished STELLA 1.1, meant to be held down here with the display screen visible, and sensors are mounted on the back. When started, this is what the display screen will look like with your 3 modes you can switch between. When taking a reading, you will hold the STELLA slightly above your desired target, which will let you read the visible light being reflected, and you can press the center button to record a measurement to the SD card on the back. Taking this apart, we're going to notice here are the sensors, here's the microprocessor and data logger. The main 3D printed parts of this device are going to be the upper housing, lower housing, the spacer for the display board, this black component here, and then 2 spacers on the main board. This purple piece is a spacer for the microprocessor, and this piece is a spacer for the TIR sensor. We recommend that you get these 3D printed pieces made as soon as possible, as it will help you build your STELLA as soon as possible. Now, within the scope of this video, the materials you are going to need are going to be your sensors, the header pins. Some tools that are going to be helpful include pliers, wire cutters, wire strippers, an X-Acto knife, a multimeter with the ability to read connectivity. You're going to need your solder and a soldering iron, and then something to hold your components in place, such as a breadboard or a sponge. It should be noted, this project will require a lot of soldering, so if you're not familiar with how to solder, we recommend that you find some tutorials online and practice as much as you can before you begin handling these components. So here we're going to demonstrate modifying the data logger component. Modifying this component will consist of severing the connection between these 2 plates and adding a wire between these 2 pins. A multimeter is very useful to see whether or not these plates are connected. So as we test now, we'll see that they are connected, and we'll test that once we're done to ensure that they are properly severed. Going to be using a X-Acto knife, or really anything you have available, to give that a try. Yeah, so now we are not getting any beeps, no connection. Next step will be to add a wire. So you can take any color you want. Just going to trying to get the wire to connect between these 2 pins as shown here. And then once that's done, you want to solder that connection. Yeah, which would be between that pin and the other pin with the wire sticking through.
Okay, the next component we will be modifying is the NIR sensor. We're going to be desoldering the JP1 pins here, and we're going to be soldering the JP2 pins here. What this allows us to do is switch the communication protocol of the sensor from I2C to UART, and it also changes which pins the sensor will be using. So it'll change from these set of pins to these set of pins, which makes it so that we can place it on our proto board. So first, come in here. Try to remove the solder. As you can see, those should be disconnected. Now we're going to flip it over, and we are going to solder the JP2 pin. Just a little solder is necessary, not too much. There. Okay, that's what it should look like. So now we're going to check continuity here. So we're going to touch these two parts of the sensor, and it's not continuous. We're not hearing a beep. Now I'll flip it over, and we'll do the same thing. Touch both sides of the JP2, and as you can see, or here, there is a beep, and that means it's continuous.
So now we're going to be showing you how to set up the software that you'll be using in the project. So first, from the STELLA website, you want to go to Downloads, hit this third zip file, STELLA 1.1 file zip, and then once you have downloaded and extracted that, you should see something like this. Once you go into here, you'll have access to the test codes that will be used in the next video putting together the breadboard, and also the 3D printed parts that you will want to get started as soon as you can. In addition to that, we are also going to be using MU Editor. You can simply just search up MU Editor download on Google and download for your respective computer. Then once that is done, you should get something like this. You're going to want to make sure that your mode is on CircuitPython. And we'll be using this for the serial monitor. So once you have a device attached, you'll be able to open the serial monitor by clicking that button.